And we are live. Who would like to give a recap for last session?
No? Give me a second here.
Okay.
Well, Ivar, Rambarskelfar, Santiar turned up at the Hampton Mansion carrying a letter from McCormick, the former leader of McCormick's Folly. You all were looking to get to the lightning rail so that, I forget the name of the city you were trying to go to. Was it Korth or was it some other city?
Yeah.
But you were trying to get to the lightning rail, so Ivar went out to flag down any passersby who might be able to provide passage. We found a family in a rickety old cart and eventually had to agree to let them stay in the Hampton Mansion, where they will probably be devoured by a Carnappy bullet zombie. We then took off in their cart, made it to Irontown, and got on the rail. After we went to an Elvish Gnome fusion restaurant to kill some time, we got on the lightning rail. We were traveling to Volyar, I believe it was, and then we were going to get off and go to Vedekar. But I think it was on the way to Volyar still, when the train was waylaid by a bunch of warforged that immediately started cutting down anyone in their way while they searched for something, for some magical schema. We then engaged the first two of the warforged we saw, bringing them down. And some of us climbed on top of the train and saw that there were many, many more that were coming down from an airship flying around the front of the train. Some of them making their way, I think, to the front of the train, but a lot of them making their way towards the back, towards where the cargo is.
Yeah, so the ones that are flying seem to be flying around the engine cart and launching volleys of explosives at the engine cart. Then the others that are coming down, because the airship is kind of anchored into the cart just before the engine cart. And so there are warforged that are kind of like climbing down, rappelling from the anchor and entering the train from that cart and working their way backwards.
And the warforged were seemingly trying to avoid loosing the air elemental that runs the train. And we did find from one of the ones we incapacitated that they were serving the Lord Blade, and it was their group was looking for this schema.
Yep.
And they came from a base in the Mournland.
Is there a sense of how many warforged there are from our position?
So anybody that's viewing from the top of the train cart sees that there's probably at least 5 to 6 warforged flying around in the front, possibly more, just because the speed of the train and obscuring of the action, because with every explosion the entire train rocks, because the way that the lightning rail works is that you have the monolith stones beneath the train, which create a repelling force that the train kind of sits on. And so the control of the train has to be very carefully balanced to continue to make sure that it stays evenly on the tracks. And each explosion really rocks the train and has the potential to knock the whole train actually off of the monolith stones.
Gotcha.
But you see that there's I mean, you can see a couple of warforged rappelling down, but as far as how many warforged may be like on foot going from the front of the train down towards you guys, it's hard to say because there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of people that are trying to rush through, and because it is a choke point and people are getting cut down from behind, there is kind of a pile up of humanity going on.
Just to clarify, Peitri is passed out, kind of knocked out at this point in the cargo hold, which is the train directly behind where everybody else is at.
No, he wasn't in the cargo hold. I thought that he was just kind of resting in your guys' private quarters that you guys rented.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to verify.
Yeah. So Brendan, because you weren't able to make it last time, we said that you were Peitri was ill from the effects of transitioning from Thalanis back to Eberron.
Yeah, I watched that part of the episode.
You're kind of waking up to the sounds of absolute chaos, screaming, explosions in an unfamiliar place, not really knowing how you got there. And if you look out the window, you see you're speeding by at high speed.
Okay.
So you could probably put 2 and 2 together that you're on the lightning rail. I don't know if Peitri has ever ridden before,
No, I don't think so.
But Peitri would definitely be aware of the lightning rail.
Of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, from where you guys are, you're on the last passenger cart, the last general passenger cart. So there's one in between you. Then there's the first passenger cart, and then there's the engine cart. And the airship is here. Maybe it'll be easier if I draw it. So we got the engine here. And then we got passenger, which is where the airship is. And then we got another cart. And then we have here. And then we have does that help?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we got the engine cart, then this is the first passenger cart, which is anchoring the airship. Then we have this one. The warforged seem to have made their way from this one and now are entering this one. You guys are here, so you guys are seeing like the buildup of people trying to get by and running to the back with you. And then Peitri is still in the guest quarters in there.
So the distance from us to the cart that is to the airship that is tethered.
So each train cart is 60 feet long. So you guys are at the edge of that third cart. So then you got 60 feet, and then you got another 5 feet separation. So that's another 10 feet, so 70 feet. So it's probably about 80, 90 feet between you and that first train cart.
Okay. Are we going on initiative right now, or just?
No, there's no clear battle. So you have in the cart that you guys are in, you have the warforged that you killed. Then there's the other warforged that Marthow charmed with his hypnotic pattern, which was good because it allowed Brevan to manacle that warforged, and so he is kind of isolated as a threat. And then Brevan has been steadily, while you guys have been handling the situation, he has been trying to because the people in this cart have been calm, he's been in an orderly fashion trying to get them back to create distance between you guys and the other warforged.
So who's
Okay.
I climbed up on top of the train.
What's that?
I know I climbed up on top of the train. I don't know who else climbed up with me.
I'm going to head up top, and I'm going to take aim at the anchor and firebolt it to see if I can dislodge it.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
It would be helpful if I had a 20-sided die. 19.
Okay. Also, give me a perception check.
No, I'm not very good at those. Oh, natural 20.
All right. So you strike true. Your firebolt is dead on for one of the cords anchoring the ship. There are several anchors in place. It's not just one. So they had like 3 harpoons that pierced the hull of the train, which are anchoring the ship in place. So once the firebolt hits, it sort of just dissipates over the cord, and you noticed, based on the glint off of the energy from the firebolt and also from what little sunlight there is with the overcast sky, these cords seem to be metallic.
Okay.
And then that's also when you notice that so anybody that's ever seen an elemental airship, you've only seen wooden versions, because obviously it takes a lot of power to be able to lift something off the ground, even with a bound elemental. But Kolmar, you realize that that ship is completely metal and stone, which strikes you as unusual.
I'm going to yell. I mean, you said that some of them are rappelling down the chain, the anchor.
Yeah.
Yell over the roar of the wind. Hey, Kolmar, maybe some grease on that.
I don't know if I can reach it.
If you don't have the range, you can always use an action point.
Yeah, it's 60-foot range. Can I use a movement, get closer?
If you're gonna move on top of the train, so are you still on your cart, or did you cross the gap to get onto the next cart?
I would have crossed the gap and then climbed up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not that far.
Okay. So you can give me a either dexterity or acrobatics check.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. Let's see. What can I add to this 2? That'd be a 4. No, I'm not very good.
Okay. So as you start moving forward, the ship rocks a bit, and you are moving. The train is now moving at about 60 miles an hour, so the winds are whipping around you pretty hard. And so you kind of...
I thought the train had stopped.
No, it's not stopped. It's
Okay.
actually sped up.
Okay.
So the as the train rocks, you stumble. You kind of fall to your knees. You don't fall off the train or anything, but it makes you realize that it's kind of precarious.
Yep. Okay.
So effectively, that's kind of falling prone. So you can still get up with half your movement, move half up, and then I think that would put you in range.
Okay. I mean, that's what I'll probably have to do.
I'm going to move forward with him. So I make an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
21.
Okay. You're fine. You're walking as if it's just another day on the beach.
You shouldn't have had that drink.
Didn't have enough.
Yeah, merrily.
All right. So,
Are there any other warforged in the cabin with Marthow?
just the one that's manacled, and the effects of your spell are beginning to wear off.
Okay.
So there are currently 2 warforged making their way down the ship anchors. There are 3 more visible on that other cart, and potentially more that are in the train cart, as well as the 5 or 6 that are flying around. Especially after you cast that firebolt, Kolmar, you've gotten their attention, and
good.
they are making their way over, and so you guys have that going for you.
Does Marthow see besides the one that's charmed?
I'm sorry?
Does Marthow see any besides the one that's charmed?
No. So from your vantage point, you have that cross gap between the 2 train carts, and then the other door is closed, but there is a window. So you're seeing people pressing up against that door, trying to push through, but because of their positioning and their crowding, they're not able to get it open. But you do hear screaming, so you know that they are scared. You don't know if there's any other warforged on that specific cart, but there are more warforged coming.
Gotcha. Can't really.
Are the warforged that are advancing on Kolmar and me flying, or are they trying to cross?
No, they are on that first train cart. They're on top, moving forward.
Can I try to shoot their feet, make them trip?
Yes. So what? Let me bring up their. Okay. Yes, you can do that because you're doing like a kind of called shot. Your attack roll will be at disadvantage.
That's 11, 9, or 20. 11 plus 9.
All right, and you're doing 1 shot or 2 shots?
2 shots, I guess. That's much better. That's a 27. The damage was 5 and 9.
Okay. Okay, so you shoot 2 of them from the feet. It does knock them both down. One of them is able to because the train carts kind of do have safety railings that are kind of jutting out with some safety ropes. So it's not like you guys are just on a flat car with just an edge, because there are situations where people do go on top of these carts for whatever reason, that is incorporated in their design. One of those warforged managed to grab on. The other one does fall off and is quickly passed by. as they fall to the ground at 60 miles an hour.
I will assume I lost it 2 hours.
Good assumption. All right, so now what we're going to do is we'll do initiative with that. With it, at least with the two of you, while Peitri, Marthow, and Anno kind of figure out what they would like to do.
Right on. All right. Well, Peitri comes to, and he walks out, and he looks tired, and he hears all the screaming, and he's like, "What's going on? What are we doing? Is the queen come to kill me?"
Peitri, you are no longer in wherever you were. This is the real world. Who is the queen? Who are you speaking of?
Where's the king? He owes me.
There is no king in this land. There is only what we make of it.
Oh. What's this? And he points at the warforged.
An enemy. We are being besieged, sir. We need your help. Post haste. You woke up moments too soon, or rather too late. We need you.
Oh. Very well. He just looks around.
All right. Well, that is going on for Kolmar, warforged, and Eivar. Kolmar will go first, warforged second, Eivar third. So there are 4 warforged on that cart moving towards you guys. They're at the edge of that cart already.
Okay.
The other one having fallen.
They're at the edge of the cart, ready to jump to our cart.
Yes.
They don't fly, do they? I mean, there's only specific ones that fly. Like these guys don't look like flyers.
As far as you can tell, the ones that are flying appear to have some sort of wing mechanisms on their back. As far as you can see, these do not.
Okay, I'm going to cast grease right in front of them on the front of that cart, so when they go to make their attempt to jump over, it will be difficult terrain.
Okay. Alrighty. So they go to make that jump. Jesus. What's your spell DC?
I should know that, huh? Rough on my head. 14.
All right. So, the first one that tries to jump immediately slips, falls between the cracks, hits with a crack off of the mithril tie bolts, keeping the train carts together, and then is kind of crushed in the repelling forces underneath the train. Then a second one tries to leap and does not fail as spectacularly as that one does, but he does fall to the side, though with quick reflexes he is able to grab hold of one of the ropes, and he is hanging off the side of it, his body struggling against the 60-mile-an-hour winds of the train's acceleration. After those two do that the other warforged notice the grease at the edge and reveal each one of them has some kind of arm mechanism that they pull out these that whips around, and they have like puts axes into their arms, and they throw one at each of you. So one at Eivar and one at Kolmar.
Oh, okay.
And actually, they throw two each.
Oh, super nice.
So the two that are being thrown at Kolmar, a 21 and a 9.
I'm sure the 21 hits. The 9 obviously does not. Where the hell is my armor class on this piece of paper? Features.
It's on stats if you're using
Okay.
the website.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second. Nope, that still would hit me. So yeah, yeah, that one hits.
Okay. So that one. So you take 4 damage as it slashes past your shoulder, just grazing the edge, cutting into your flesh.
Okay.
Then at Eivar, Eivar nimbly dodges out of the way of both of the axes thrown. All right, so Eivar, you're up.
Can I shoot the rope the one is hanging from?
Yeah, you can certainly try.
The first shot was a 27. The second shot was a 19.
Okay. So the first shot manages to hit the rope, causing it to kind of splinter. The second shot nails it home and causes it to snap. That warforged then surprisingly is able to hold on. Even though the rope is snapped, he's still on the edge, so he hits into the side of the train car and takes some damage from that. All right. Anu, Peitri, Elmorn and Peitri, and Marthow. You guys have anything that you're wanting to do?
Okay. Well, I look around and then I look at Elmorn and I say, "Can you damage these warforged, Elmorn?"
Last time I tried, yes.
And Marthow, do you know how to drive a lightning rain train thing?
Say that again. My mic cut out.
Does Marthow know how to drive a lightning train?
Drive a lightning rail? That's something Charles is really great at. Unfortunately, I know not of these arts.
Well, you can learn on the fly. We are going to go save all the people and the driver, hopefully, if he's still alive, and kill all the warforged along the way.
You do have to realize we have to fight through 2-ish cars of warforged and warforged on the roof.
We don't know about the ones on the roof, maybe except for the slamming, but let's go through the train.
Marthow's assuming that there are warforged on the roof. Because he hears thumping, lots of thumping, and he doesn't know what else would be thumping on the roof.
There's suddenly an explosion that rocks through the train. Eivar Eivar and Kolmar, you can see that another explosion has been launched at the engine cart, causing it to swerve. Each of you give me an athletics check. Or acrobatics.
Thank God. 20 with acrobatics.
I got 22.
Oh, no, if you're in the train car, you don't need to worry.
Oh, okay.
You might stumble, but especially since you're not actively in combat, you can just pick yourself up.
Gotcha.
15.
Okay. Both of you wobble on your feet, but you're able to maintain your balance. That one seemed powerful enough that it seemed like it almost sent the train off the rails.
Is if Marthow can I are you able to cast illusions more or less kind of through a wall, or only within like a room?
So normally any kind of spell, unless it's a specific kind of spell, requires some kind of line of sight. I would say that it is, if you know the dimensions and how far into the room you're casting it, you could cast a spell like an illusion, potentially. The problem is because you don't have line of sight, you wouldn't know if you're able to successfully manipulate the magic to create the visual or auditory effect that you're looking to achieve.
Sure. I gotcha.
Can we see the people in the next cart?
Yeah, so there are windows.
Yeah.
So if you're looking, Martha, are you looking for some kind of illusion to distract the warforged or try to give directions to the people, or what were you trying to do with that?
I wanted to have Martha wanted to create an illusion where the train cars were separating. So that the next car where the people were and the train car where we're currently at are like slowly coming apart from each other, or quickly, or
So if you did that, you might cause even greater panic to the people that would be seeing that. Because right now, the only outside of the warforged that are on your cart currently, which you assume based on the fact that it seems like they have retractable wings, they were probably flyers, and they came to this cart, you know, through the air rather than the other warforged that are making their way through from the front cart backwards. So there's so the cart next to you is full of people that are trying to get across. Some of them have gotten across, but then that choke point happened, and now a lot of them are stuck and trying to push past.
gotcha.
And then it's the first cart that really have other warforged that are making their way across, and they're slaughtering everybody in those carts.
Where's Brevan in all this?
Oh no.
Brevan is doing his best to secure the people that are on the cart with Peitri and Marthow and Elmorn to get them back to try and keep them out of the fighting as long as possible.
I asked Brevan, could you possibly recondition these warforged for our cause?
Would I be able to recondition you to their cause?
Most likely. depending on what we're fighting for.
The problem with warforged, which is also the greatest strength, is the fact they're capable of independent thought. They are fully sentient beings. So they are not simply automatons that can be repurposed.
I've only met a minor warforged, so I don't really know much about them, other than being minors.
Educate yourself.
All right, Brevan. I think I'm gonna go save all the people now. Brevan, who's been sitting here for ages doing nothing. Now off I go.
He doesn't even give you a thought. He really, really does not like Peitri.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so then Peitri, what are you gonna do? And Marthow and Anna, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna start walking towards the cart door. I'm gonna walk through it and then walk to the next one.
Okay. So the cart doors open inward to the cart.
Cool.
So that's one of. So you're able to open yours, but you're not able to open that one because it opens inward and the people are pushing forward, which is why there's that choke point there. So did you want to try something that would break the door or that would?
So what's the mechanism? Is it like a bar on the roof or something, which is like stopping it from coming my way, or?
What do you mean?
What's stopping it from coming forward instead of other than? Is it like a metal thing?
It's not like one of those. It's not a swinging door that like goes both ways. It's like
right.
You know, doors. Most doors
So
just open
hit
one way.
Thing. Tunk. Okay. All right. So, Elmorn, I'm stuck.
You're stuck?
Yeah, can you break this door, please, with your big mighty axe or something?
There is access to the roof from over that we got up.
I'm sorry. Since I was working, I don't have a grasp on everything that's going on right now. So Peitri's behind me, stuck apparently. In the door?
No. So you and Marthow are in that cart where you guys first fought the two warforged.
Yeah.
Peitri has crossed the kind of catwalk connector that's connecting the carts and is trying to open the door to the next cart to let the people that are trapped out. But because the doors open inward to the carts, the people are their own body weight is pressing against it as they're trying to kind of swarm, and so it's preventing the door from opening. And so Peitri is asking for your help with that.
Can I use an action point to like cast command and make all these people stop swarming against the door? Command them to stop?
I like that. Yes.
All right. And once we get the door open, I guess I'll be like, all right, stop standing around. Let's go, 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 go. All right.
All right. So you use your action points. How does the magic work when you do that spell? What does it look like for Elmorn?
Let's see.
And especially as you empower it with your force of will through the use of your action point.
All right. My throat glows with a golden hue, almost as if I'm spewing light. But it's followed up by a gruff bark of a command. And I look at all of the people through. I'm guessing there's like a window on this door so we can see all the people swarming against them. I look at them and I just shout, "Stop it! no! But the only word that matters is the first one that came out, the stop. And it's like kind of, you can kind of see the word come out of my mouth. And all the people freeze up and stop pressing against the door.
Okay.
We're
So
leaving.
now you have. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not at the door, like up to the door yet, but Peitri, now you can open it.
Yeah, Peitri's stopped as well. You're so powerful, Elmorn.
Peach is just caught in awe
He's
of
like,
Elmorn's command over the divine magic.
And I snap my fingers at you. Come on, open the door, Peitri.
Oh, and I just push it against the bodies.
Okay.
Of the people.
So they're not resisting. So it is possible to open the door now, but you still are pushing against people who are there.
Yeah.
So give me a strength check.
Okay.
Or athletics.
All right. So we've got 16.
If Elmorn is there helping, he could give you an advantage.
Okay, I'm helping him.
Okay. Let's re-roll that one. Oh, that's 21.
Okay. That is good enough. You're able to force the door open despite the people who are standing in front of it. And so now you have the door open. These people are slowly starting to regain their senses. They're not quite sure what happened that overcame them, but they are also not really caring because they're beginning to remember, oh shit, there are warforged coming. So they begin to push forward now.
Yep. I guess I hold the door, I guess. Her door, and and watch them all go through.
All right. So as they push through, Peitri, you're feeling them pull you against the door, and like it's a mass of humanity. Like we're talking dozens of people that are trying to get by you and are trying to squeeze around you. And so to hold that door is becoming increasingly difficult. And so I needed you to give me a strength or athletics check. Also, Ano, because you are there and you initially helped him open the door, you're kind of caught as this wave is beginning to cross this connector between the carts. So I need you to give me an acrobatics or dexterity check to avoid falling off, getting knocked off.
All right. So I got 18 as my athletics.
I used an action point for my athletics. For my acrobatics. Whatever. 14.
Okay. So you are feeling yourself losing your balance. For now, you have caught hold of one of the safety rails, but as these people are surging forward, you're not sure how much longer you can hang on. Meanwhile, Peitri, your grip is straining on the door, but you're maintaining your stance and you are keeping it open. So let's pause there for a second. Marthow, what are you doing as these people are surging forward? And then Eivar and Kolmar, how are you guys about to react as these warforged begin changing tactics as they're approaching you guys?
The train is rolling through open field, correct?
I'm sorry?
The train is rolling through open field, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Does Marthow hear the thumping and things going on the roof?
Give me a perception check.
It's a 10.
Okay. You can't, just because of all the people rushing forward onto your cart, the noise of that chaos, as well as the door open, the wind rushing in, and the semi-frequent explosions taking place. Between all of that, it's hard to hear what's going on the roof a couple of carts ahead of you.
How about like my car?
On your cart, there doesn't appear to be any kind of noise.
Okay. I don't know. Martha doesn't really feel like he can do anything at this point, given that he has a rush of people coming after him. I mean, he's going to try to ferry the people over to the cargo hold.
Okay. Give me. So you're going to be using your charm to command and direct them
Persuasion.
in as orderly a fashion as possible, or at least in the fashion you deem appropriate.
Yeah, most beautiful.
So give me a persuasion check for that.
That doesn't make it.
What is it?
I rolled a 2, so persuasion is a 9.
Okay. So they're still pretty panicked. Some are taking notice of you and listening to you, but not everybody. So it's not as orderly, and they're not following your directions as much as you would like. Also, Eivar and Kolmar, each of you guys give me perception checks.
Nine.
I'm trying to find my bonus. 18.
Okay. Email coming your way, Kurt.
At this moment, Peitri only thinks Kolmar's on the roof.
Sorry, guys. Hang on one second.
Hey, Dustin, do you guys use any like content management system for events?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay. So my task now is to like find a content management system for events, an open source one that we can put in our app or whatever. I found a couple. I just wasn't sure if you had any recommendations.
No, none that I've really dealt with.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Or fortunately. I mean, when you get to the business of user content, like, users are relentless.
Yeah.
Maybe like WordPress or something, or you can just like type in your own updates and web pages would probably be the closest I dealt with.
Sorry, guys. This is Lisa's first night working night shift, or first week working night shift.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's been difficult.
Hopefully she heard that.
All right, so Marthow, you are working to try and corral the people as best you can to head back
Correct.
in orderly fashion.
Yes.
All right.
Mark can't do anything else offensively at this point. So
Okay.
help people out.
All right, so that brings us to the next round then. So in terms of those in combat with initiative, we have Kolmar, warforged, Eivar.
So there's 2 warforged across from us that threw these axes.
Right, and it seems like, you know, they have kind of like ammunition. It's almost like special mechanisms that bring it from their back, from some kind of compartment, and then they grab them and then can throw them. And then there's the other warforged that is hanging still on the side of the cart.
Grace the chain. Grace the chain. We don't need any more.
Sounds kind of personal. I mean, is it obvious? Are they still? So, the airship, is it still crowded? Is there? You can see a lot of warforged on it, or is it they waiting to come down, or what?
So you don't know how many warforged are actually on the ship in the carts. You do know that there were at least 5 that came down, and they saw you, which is why they're on top of the cart. Otherwise, they may have tried to get in to the cart to travel with their companions. But as far as the airship, unlike other airships that do have like an open deck where people can stand, this one seems to be enclosed.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So I will grease one of the chains or whatever I can reach within range. At
Okay.
least make it difficult for them to slide. If they do try to propel down, they'll maybe go at excessive speed and crash into the lightning rail.
Oh, that's true. If grease is a concentration spell, then that'll use up the grease that's preventing them from leaping over at us.
I don't think it is.
Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
I think it's one of those rare spells that has a duration but not a concentration.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm trying to look in the player's handbook when I don't need to. It's right here. Yeah, 1 minute duration, no concentration.
All right, that's what I'll do.
Okay. You have greased the chains.
See, Ivar was thinking he also doesn't want the warforged that are here to escape by climbing back up that chain.
Ooh. Nice call. All right, so the warforged are coming. So the warforged that is hanging off the side of the cart is trying to climb and make his way back up. So he's able to get back to the top where he's gripping the top and he's pulling himself up. He's not quite on the cart yet. The other 2 begin to launch more axes at the 2 of you. So Kolmar, we got a 23 and a 13. No, 12. 23 and a 12.
Yeah, it's 1 hit.
So that's 8 slashing damage. And then against Eivar, once again, Eivar nimbly dodges whatever axes are thrown his way.
This guy's a ringer.
But you also see in the distance 2 of the flyers break off from the formation around the engine and come flying towards you. One on either side of the cart. And you see them there as they point their arms toward the both of you. And you see their arms transform into what look to be literal hand cannons. Let's see. Where is it? 6. So one of them misses Kolmar, but it explodes pretty close to him. And then the other one also misses Eivar, but explodes close to you guys. It does cause the train to rock, and so both of you give me dexterity or acrobatics checks.
They'll be using an action point for that.
Okay.
You'll be using an action point.
Yeah.
23.
All right, let's see here.
Eivar just makes it look easy. Dodging axes, dodging.
Let's see. I'll use another action point. That was pretty terrible. That's better. 18.
Okay. So you both barely managed to stay on your feet.
Yeah.
And you also notice that a couple of warforged are, because the way that the anchors are, they lead directly into the ship. So it's not like so it's kind of like they were shot from like an interior thing, right, that like a hole in the hull. So you see a couple of warforged fall, like trying to grab through there, come down, but as they grip the chain, they begin to slide uncontrollably. Yeah, and that's about 40 feet up. So they both of those warforged land hard, prone on the top of it, and they each take some significant damage from that. You can see them kind of sparking from their joints afterwards, and a couple of their joints seem to be a little bit akimbo, which is a word that is not used often enough.
Akimbo.
So you have 4 warforged that are on the cart, another one that's hanging off, and then you have the 2 flyers.
All right, good. I like our odds.
I am going to, since he's hanging off the side of the cart, could I go over and shoot at him without disadvantage, shooting down?
Sure.
5 feet. That's a natural 20 and a regular 20. 21. Regular 21.
All right. Confirm the natural 20.
That's a 22.
All right. That is a critical. Roll your percentile.
67.
All right, so you shoot that warforged right in his bloody eyes.
His nuts, his balls.
And he is completely blinded by your attack as a result. And he also takes double max damage from that first attack, and then normal damage from the second one.
So it's 24 for the first one and 9 for the second one.
Okay. So that warforged is going to be blind forever because he's dead.
What a way to die.
So basically, it's. Do you guys ever see? UHF.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he's Rambo and he's right next to the guy with the explosive arrow? That's what I imagine Eivar just did.
The guy's just shooting a machine gun at him, like point blank. Totally missing every shot because Ivar's not tall enough.
Good news, everyone. I got my work done.
Yay! We have Anno's full attention now.
That's right.
Just in time.
Yeah, shit's starting to get real. There have only been two rounds of this past since we've started. All right. So, Eivar, you took your shots. Is there anything else that you can do on your turn that you've been wanting to do?
Side of Kolmar. Not too close, so I don't step in the grease that I'm sure it's just accumulating around him.
All right. So then we'll go back to Marthow, Peitri, and Elmorn. What are you guys doing while this is all happening? Oh, actually, no. So Peitri is still holding the door. Elmorn is still trying to stay to kind of survive the wave of people coming forward. And Marthow is doing his best to direct them. So, Peitri, give me a strength or athletics check.
All right. I got a 12. Let's go with that.
Okay. Your grip on the door is seriously weakening, and in fact, it slips, and the door begins to close partially, beginning to slow the tide of people that are coming forward. Anu, or Elmorn, give me acrobatics or dexterity check.
Use another action point. 19.
All right. You have regained your stance. You are far more balanced than you were before, whereas last time you were kind of hanging at the edge. This time you've managed to kind of get a grasp, and you are seeing the way that the people are coming out and being able to react appropriately to kind of rebalance yourself and lower your center of gravity so that you are not in such a precarious position, nearly falling off of the railing. And then Marthow, give me a persuasion roll.
Oh. That's a 19.
All right. So you have found that you have, when the people suddenly rushed onto you before, you were kind of caught off guard a little bit, especially given your buzz that you got going on. But you've managed to regain your voice and find your words and inspire the people in order to move in a more calm and orderly fashion, making it much easier for Brevan to kind of lead them onto the other cart.
So is the door to the cargo cart open? That's from Peitri?
So the passenger cart that Peitri is holding open is beginning to close. There's still a couple more people.
Oh, no, never mind. So Martha wants to go.
Oh, the cart's behind you, you mean?
Yes.
So Brevan is working to help those people get through. And kind of helping them get past that way.
So what will it take to open up the doors to the cargo cart?
The cargo cart is quite a number of carts behind you.
I thought the cargo cart was the cart right behind us.
No, so there are two, I believe. So let me pull up my notes real quick. But the way that these carts are structured, the first 3 carts are the passenger carts for general passengers. Then I believe you have 2 carts that are the private suites for the high-paying customers. Then you have the dining cart, and then you have the cargo carts.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have that next up.
So we were in the dining cart?
No, you were in the private suite.
Right.
Because that's the way you guys roll.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone else was paying for it.
Thought you guys were doing like a weekend at Bernie's with me, with my body.
Marthow is going to try to get into the private cart behind. He's going to try to make his way into the back of the train.
Okay.
Not sure if I need to help them through. Or if by my natural good looks they feel inspired. As Marthow would be, were he looking into a mirror.
So you can either give me a persuasion or acrobatics check to navigate the wave of people, because there are a lot of people that you're trying to get around in order to get back to those carts.
Marthow will do a persuasion. He's going to do a action point on that. It's a 19.
Okay. So the people are marvelously inspired by your words, so that they do kind of create as much of a human bubble around you as possible, as they can't help but respect the silken, honeyed, dulcet tones that escape from your lips.
I would be lying if I said this was the first time.
All right, so Peitri, as you are holding on for dear life, trying to keep the door open, and Elmorn, as you are balancing as well as you can, as the people from the cart are still trying to get through, what do you guys want to do? Is there anything else, or do you want to just keep trying to be guiding the people as best as possible?
Yeah, I think that's the best bet, because then when all the people run out, well, then we'll know what's left.
Okay. Also, so because the door has slightly closed, Peitri, one of the passengers that tries to slip by you actually trips, and he looks like he's about to fall off the railing. Elmorn, you are in a position to help that person. So how do you want to try to help them? How are you going to react?
You're saying he's falling, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hanging on by one arm, right?
No, you've regained your balance well enough that you're not having to hang off of the. You're not like trying to maintain your balance off the edge of the safety railing.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Is there a way I can secure myself before I try and grab this person?
Sure.
All right, then I would do that. I would grab onto whatever I can and try and grab them with my other arm.
All right. Give me an athletics check.
Holy shit. All right.
Is it a natural one?
No.
Did you roll a natural one?
No. I rolled a 3. But
Okay.
Beautiful.
9 total.
All right.
It's not worth my action point. He can die. I'm here.
Well, sucks to be that guy, I guess. So Peitri, what you see is as you're holding this door, this person trips, Elmorn sees it happening, and his first reaction is to hold on the guardrail and then to try and get this person. But he's just a split second too slow, and the person's arm escapes Elmorn's grasp, and he is beginning to fall off of this train cart. So now
shit.
You have an option. Do you continue to focus on the door, or do you try to save the person falling?
But I'm her door.
You cannot do both.
Shit. I'm gonna save this person. Dumb Peitri, you fucking retard. All right, let's do it.
All right. Give me an athletics check.
All right. How does a 6 do? Is that worth a reroll?
Because you made the tough choice to save somebody, I will give you advantage on this check.
All right. Well,
because the silver flame is with you as you make the good choice.
Make me do dumb shit. All right, let's see. I rolled a 17.
All right, that's good enough to save this person. You catch them just as they are beginning to fall. Unfortunately, because of that, the door is now becoming jammed once again. It's not closed, but people are now fighting to get through.
All right. Well. All right. So people fighting to get through, and I just I sort of like get I sort of try and block the way, like the way to the next cart, and I shoulder down and charge the door. Just so, like, I'm going to try and bash everyone away from the door so then I can open it up again as much as I can.
Okay, so that's the other cart that you were trying to hold the door open for before?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get back there.
All right, we'll resolve that for next round. So now we're at the top. We're at the top with what's happening at the top of the train. So we got Kolmar, warforged, Eivar.
So I've got, 2 flying in and then 4 on the cart?
Yep. 2 of them are on the ground in a heap because they fell from the airship with your grease-soaked chain.
Okay. So they are... Would they be disadvantaged on a dex check?
I don't know that is an effect of being prone. It depends. I guess it depends on what it is that's happening.
I'm going to use the bag of Giant's Wrath and throw those stones at them. Take advantage of the fact that they're fell to the ground.
They would not necessarily be at disadvantage, but their only ability to get out of the way would be rolling off the train.
Okay, good.
So because they don't want to roll off the train, they will probably take the disadvantage.
So disadvantage is what you're saying.
Yes. All right, so that is dexterity check for each of them.
Yep. DC 14.
DC 14. 1, 2. 2 succeed, 2 fail, 1 critically.
And the damage is 15. So, and half is 7.
So, the one that critically failed is just crushed outright under the rocks. The other one that had so one of the ones that had fallen from the ship is crushed. The other one is looks to be pretty critically injured. The other two, they were grazed, but they were able to, for the most part, get out of the way. Unfortunately, the rocks, the large boulders falling onto the train, rocks the train and causes a bit of instability. So, Eivar and Kolmar, I need you guys to do dexterity checks.
God damn it.
I rolled a 16, so it's a 19 with dex or 22 with acrobatics.
All right, here's my. Let's see.
Acrobatics is fine.
One more. Use an action point. Yeah. Okay, 5.
All right. So you are falling towards the guardrail. Give me a strength, acrobatics, or dexterity, or a strength, athletics, or dexterity, acrobatics, whichever one.
Find the highest one that you can. 9.
All right. So Kolmar is about to go off the train. Eivar, I will let you use your reaction to try and do something amazing here.
Okay.
Good luck.
I was reaching for my Tanglefoot. I gave one Tanglefoot bag to, I forget who I gave it to, in case they needed to immobilize warforged. But I have a second one.
I think it was Marthow or Elmorn.
I think it was Martha. So, but I have a second one on me that I was reaching for this round because I was going to throw it to stop the flying guys from flying if I could hit them. But instead, I'm going to reach in and try to glue you to the top of the train.
All right. So here's what happens. Kolmar, seeing an opportunity to crush some warforged, as he's wont to do, since what good are they? He can't even raise them anyways. Tries to launch some pebbles that turn into boulders. Unfortunately, destabilizes the car. He loses his balance, begins to fall. He's falling off the train. He reaches for the railing, trying to grab that as his last resort. Unfortunately, misses because, you're moving at 60 miles an hour. And then Eivar, seeing this happening, for the small, quick, nimble gnome, it's almost in slow motion for him. And he's just like, oh, I got this. And he throws this weird tan bag through the air. It hits Kolmar in the chest, and Kolmar's like, what the fuck? As it knocks him further away, but then it explodes in this sticky goo that engulfs him and the train and catches him, and then, kind of the way I'm envisioning it, he's still falling off the train, but now he has these threads of glue that are stretching, and it retracts back, and he falls back and hits the window and smacks it, and is kind of stuck on the window on the side of the train now.
All right.
How is that?
That's good.
Yes.
So Kolmar, you're for a moment you're really like, what? Trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
So I'm stuck to the window.
To the wall. Yeah, you're just kind of thinking, well, this will match my grease stains. Now I got glue stains.
Yep.
All right, so then the warforged are going. They see all of this happen, and they're kind of like stunned a little bit, just because they were like really not expecting anything like that to be happening. But they quickly are like, whatever, and they all turn their attention to Eivar. So the one warforged that is pretty badly injured, one of his arms is kind of hanging, so he's only able to throw one axe. The others that are standing on the train each throw 2. So Eivar, you got 5 axes coming your way. And all but one fucking miss.
It's like the circus up there.
Yeah, I'm imagining Ivar's just kind of like putting on an acrobatics clinic.
He's actually just stumbling around from all the wind.
So Ivar, you take 8 slashing damage from the one successful axe that was able to graze your gnomish skin. And then the 2 flyers both focus their attention on you. 19 and a 22.
Okay.
All right. So that is... So you take 24 damage as these 2 missiles burst forth and explode next to you, hitting you directly in your chest and one of your legs, which also causes you to potentially lose your balance. So give me an acrobatics check.
I'm going to use a second action point on that one. That's 18.
All right, so you're able to stay up. All right. Exciting stuff going on.
Wow.
On the top of the train. Now let's go back to the drama inside the train. All right, so Peitri, you are in the process of shoulder checking that door, correct?
Yeah.
Give me an athletics check. Double your. Are you proficient in athletics?
Yes.
All right. Double your proficiency bonus because we're going to say that you're using your charger feat. And I feel like that's an appropriate bonus.
Yeah. Okay. So double 20.
All right. So you're able to force it open. You hurt some of the people on the other side, but it's better that they're hurt and survive than, they get trapped again.
Very much so.
When we go back up top, I never took my attacks.
What's that?
When we go back up top, I never took my attacks.
Oh, sorry.
Teleport. Choo!
All right, go ahead, take your attacks. What is it that, or your action? What is it that Eivar wants to do?
Yeah, now that I've lost the second, I was going to take out Thunderstone and throw it at one of the flyers.
Ooh,
Shit.
We got a lot of gadgets. Let's see. But I basically have to hit this guy because I needed to hit a hard surface.
Mm-hmm.
Want me to roll attack or what?
I'm reading real quick what the Thunderstone does. Oh, that's actually a really smart thing to do with the flyer. They're not close enough that they would both be affected because they're on either side of the train. But but yeah, we'll say that you make that you do a throw and just try to hit their armor class. I'll let you have proficiency in it as well.
But it's 19.
That's a hit. So then they have to make a Constitution save and a Strength save.
Yep.
So that one's con save, natural 20. But it's not a confirm, so that's just a normal save. So so that creature manages to protect its ears enough that it's not deafened, but is still potentially going to fall. So strength check. Abysmal fail. So go ahead and describe how this warforged gets knocked from the air.
So I throw it. It winds up clanking into the upper part of his chest near his neck. He manages to sort of reach up and cover his ears, but the concussive force of the explosion that occurs just starts him spinning, and he just starts bouncing off the ground as he falls.
All right. So you managed to take out one of the flyers.
Ivar then Barvalskar Santiar. How close was I?
You probably saw him fly by, skidding into the ground.
I mean, how close was I to saying your name?
Pretty close.
All right. So just so that we're not confining to unreasonable limits, Marthow, despite the long distance, I'm not keeping you to the 30 feet movement stuff. So you're able to make it to the first door of the cargo hold. And then Elmorn, what is it that you would like to do this round as well?
So what's the situation? Give me a sit rep.
All right, so you are still on the space between carts on that mithril connecting bolt between the trains. Originally, you were there trying to make sure that people were not going to fall, and also trying to keep your own balance because of where you were situated. But now that the number of people is kind of dwindling as the people in the other cart, the numbers are growing smaller, and so you have a little bit more room to decide what you would like to do at this point. Whether you want to go up top and join Eivar and Kolmar, or if you want to go back and try to help the people, or if you want to surge forward and try to meet the warforged on the carts headlong.
Elmorn doesn't go back. He only goes forward.
Okay. So now the question, are you going forward in the cart or at the top of the cart?
So Elmorn would have heard this thunder thing. Sorry, I stepped away for a second. This explosion that caused the warforged to go tumbling down, right?
And you probably got a chance to glance it from your vantage point as you saw a warforged tumbling painfully, bouncing along the ground as the train went by.
Then I would think they've got it handled up there. No reason for me to think otherwise, so I would charge forward. Elmorn would charge forward through the door.
Okay. So you charge forward through the door, and you get there just as the warforged from the first cart have finished slaughtering the people from the first cart. So they are beginning to enter that second cart. They are all absolutely covered in blood. From what you can gather, there's absolutely no survivors from that first cart. It was an absolute massacre.
Fills me with rage.
Oh my god.
So, there are 3 warforged immediately in front of you.
All right, time to kill him.
All right, give me an initiative roll.
19.
All right. Go ahead and make your attacks. Or do what it is that you want to do. So the way that they are positioned right now is they are in chevron formation. So, so you have one lead and one on either side of him, slightly behind.
All right. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on the lead.
Okay.
And then I'll attack him.
Do it.
First one is a 25.
The hit.
All right.
Roll your attacks first, then we'll do damage.
Okay. 18.
Also a hit.
Sweet. All right. Damage is going to be a shit ton of rolls, right? Let's see. Get to 10. And then I get...
So you got 2d10s, 2d6s, and then your strength modifier on each one.
All right. First d10 is 9 plus 3, so 12. Second d10 is 6 plus 3, so 9. So 12 plus 9.
21.
I want to do math right now. All right.
So then in the 2d6s.
21 plus 6. So 27. Plus... Wait. Aha! Oh, wait, that doesn't count. Never mind. All right, plus 2.
So 29 total. So you very clearly mortally wounded this warforged at the lead. He only has 1 hit point left, so he's hanging on by a the bare thread. So then, but he is like most warforged. He does not seem to have a sense of self-preservation or fear of death, so he is pressing on with his attack anyways. So they each one of them have spring-loaded blades that shoot out from their wrists. And because they're kind of surrounding you, and because of their ability to work in sync as a single unit, due to maybe it's their training, maybe it's their design, maybe it's because they have been working together for a while, they seem to be very much very effective in their attacks. So they each get 2 attacks. So first one, miss. Second one, 18.
That's my armor class.
All right, so we got 1 hit. So that's 1 warforged. Second warforged, that's a miss, and then their second attack is 21.
Okay.
That's a hit. And then the third one, miss and a hit. So each one of them hits you once with their blades.
All right.
So they do 33 slashing damage, but as they do that damage, Egg pops out and does his thing, making sure that you have this magical barrier surrounding you, protecting you from some of the damage you would take.
Yeah.
So you only take half of that. So you only take 16 damage.
Okay.
So then we've taken care of Peitri. We got Elmorn. Marthow, you get to the cargo hold. What are you doing?
So I went through 2 carts into the cargo hold.
You went past more than 2 carts, but you're at the cargo hold.
Okay. Are there any boxes, or what do I see? What do I see, first of all?
So you see a ton of boxes, and some of them are boxes that are, or rather cages carrying various animals, such as cattle or prized horses, maybe maybe a mage-bred horse or 2, which are superior versions of horses. You see just a ton of boxes. There's all kinds of mess on the floor. It looks like it hasn't been swept in some time, as there are animal droppings, there's hay, there's dirt and dust. The air is pretty musty because unlike the other carts, this one doesn't have any ventilation, nor does it have any kind of temperature regulation, so it's also much colder on this cart.
I see. Are there any boxes that stick out to Marthow more than others?
Give me a perception check. Actually, no. Give me investigation.
13.
Okay. I mean, you see a couple of boxes that seem to have the mark of the Gorgon, which is the animal related to House Cannith, the House of Making. And then you also see some that may have, I mean, you're not 100% sure, but they look like symbols that may be in some way related to insignia of royalty.
Do I see any symbols that match the one that I've seen on the warforged?
No.
Does Marthow know of any connection between House Cannith and the warforged?
House Cannith invented the warforged.
Okay. I knew one of the houses did. I couldn't remember which one did it. Marthow makes his way towards the boxes that appear to have sigils of House Cannith on it. What is inside the boxes?
We're gonna find out together.
Is it story dice time?
Story dice. In the first box you open, there are a couple of different things being carried in that box. The first looks like it's a map. It doesn't look like a map of Corvair. It could be a map of Zendrick, which is the continent south of Corvair. But you're not too familiar with Zendrick. And I don't know how familiar Marthow is with geography in general. But if Marthow had to make a guess, it's probably Zendrick.
Marthow did travel with House Orion all around the world, so you can assume that he has a decent grasp of geography and knows the lands.
Okay. Well, House Orion, they do travel outside of Corvair a bit, but they're pretty much they limit a lot of their activity to Corvair. So there are other continents. There's Arenal, which is the continent of the elves, and their ancestral homeland. Then there's Zendrick, which is the jungle continent that not much is known about generally. And then there's Sarlona, which is thought to be the birthplace of humanity, which has kind of become somewhat of a hermit kingdom. And then there's Arganessen, which is the continent of dragons, where people don't generally go to, and return from there. And then there's Frostfell, which is the northern continent of ice.
Gotcha.
So you recognize that is probably a map of Zendrick. In addition to that, you see some kind of strange tablet that seems to have a random number generator of some sort and text, but it doesn't appear to be in a language that you recognize.
I see. Martha will take both of those things because you never know when a map of Zendrick will come in handy, as well as a random number generator tablet.
I love mine.
So he'll take both of those things. And is there another? So the cargo card is the last of the cards, correct?
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 cargo cards. I can't remember how many exactly there are. So there's a lot of cargo.
Okay, Marthaw's going to move towards the next cargo cart.
Okay. So that will bring us to the top of the round. With that, do you guys mind if we take a short break?
Nope.
Yes, sirree. Oh, I don't mind. I mean.
Be back in a couple minutes.
So did your story dice reveal a computer for the RNG and text tablet?
No, so I rolled 3 dice, and the dice revealed 3 pictures: a tower, a book, somebody reading a book, and a dice.
Ah, I see.
Martha would like to use this opportunity to loot. Disaster on a train? Well, I guess this guy's possessions belong to me now. Maybe he's dead, though. You never know. You could get lucky.
By the way, my throat is kind of swelling up a little bit. So if I start to sound hoarse, or if I start to look like I'm losing steam or energy, I'm not. I'm just fighting this illness that has suddenly decided to bug me.
Gotcha.
All right. Are we ready to get to the start of round 4? Where's Ano playing on his VR headset?
The Vive? I wish I had a full room virtual reality to play with. It's the Mines of Moria, but less intimidating.
No, it sounds like you're playing drums. Fuck.
Now it looks like you're telling somebody to get off your lawn.
Playing old man.
Yeah.
Nice. We can see you talking, but we can't hear it.
Can't hear a thing.
No. It's taking over the video. Can you see us in your headset? Nod once for yes.
Do you feel like you can reach out and touch us?
So are you saying Hawk is within grabbing distance right now?
Oh.
That's like a real Judge Dredd looking thing. The only downside is we can't hear you, so.
He should put on the Vive and his headphones over that.
Still can't hear you. Nope. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I was hoping they would make it into the train car where they would see Kolmar just stuck to the window.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the train car.
Yep.
So Elmorn, as you're getting attacked by these warforged. Oh, okay. Well, as he's getting attacked by the warforged, he sees.
Yeah, he blacks out.
All right. Well, I would say let's move on without him, but he rolled high enough that he goes first this round.
Sure, we'll be back in a second.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yep.
me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Sorry, that was weird. I don't know why I did that.
So
Typical advice always works.
So Elmorn, as you are dodging and taking
Ducking,
these
diving.
attacks, yes, from the warforged and their bladed weapons, you notice out of the corner of your eye, and then full on as you turn, as you dodge another attack, you turn and you see in one of the windows the familiar greased cloak of a dwarf kind of stuck to the window with like what appears to be some kind of viscous glue that you can see trails off the window towards the top of the cart.
I think to myself, perhaps I should have gone up there. But now I've got my own problems to deal with, unfortunately.
All right, so Elmorn, you're up. You have these 3 warforged attacking you.
All right. Am I allowed to split up my extra attack so I can attack one and then attack another?
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. Let's see. Okay. Do these guys? Is there anything distinct about any of these warforged that like they seem different than any of the other warforged we've fought so far? Or are they all just kind of similar?
Well, the only warforged that you've ever been introduced to into this campaign up until now, I believe, is Stencil, who is one of Brevan's officers.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there may have been a damaged warforged or something in Deep Dark, but you guys haven't come across any within the campaign.
We met one at that open mine area. There was like a warforged in there mining. That's why I was talking about it before. When they're trying to mine for crystals, what are they called?
Dragon
The dragon shards. Yeah. There was like 1 or 2 warforged in there mining.
Okay.
That's not really what I'm asking anyway. What I'm asking is like, no, you're fine. Is there anything that amongst themselves, amongst the warforges that we've been fighting on this train, do any of them seem distinct from one another? Like, do one of them seem like the leader, maybe, or in charge?
None of them necessarily seem to be. You can't tell from any outward insignia or any kind of ornamentation or any kind of stylistic thing that might indicate one as being higher in the hierarchy than any others.
Okay.
So in that sense, no.
All right. That's all I was wondering. All right. Then I won't hold back. So I'll go ahead and attack the guy who has the hunter's mark, the 1 HP dude.
Okay.
And 23.
All right, so he's dead.
Okay, and then I will switch the hunter's mark. Does that count as an action to have it carry
It's a
over?
bonus action.
It is?
It's a bonus action to switch it, yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. That's fine. I'll switch it to one of the warforged throwing things at me. And then I will attack again. Damn. Well, 13 doesn't hit.
Yes, it does.
Oh, are you serious?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You guys are weak. All right. All right. Rolling my damage. Ooh. Okay. Well, it's a 10 plus 3, so that's 13. Plus d6. That's 4.
So 17.
Yeah, but hold on. Hold on. I want to see something.
Oh, you want to smite?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm going to smite with the second level spell slot.
All right, so 2d8.
3d8.
No, 3d8, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Splat.
Well, what the fuck? Okay.
3 ones.
God damn it! You cursed me.
That's the 3 ones.
I rolled 2 1s and a 5.
All right, so an additional 7 damage.
That's pathetic.
All right, so he is still up. He is hurt pretty bad. He has viscous ichor running down from open wounds that you've caused.
Elmorn looks at his halberd like something is wrong with it. Not used to things not dying.
So go ahead and describe how that one warforged dies and what the attacks look like.
The one warforged, I don't even give him the dignity or the thought to attack him with the blade of my halberd. I just bop him in the side of the head with the butt of it, and he just falls over. Then I follow through, so I go like this, and then I come back the other way to swipe at the other warforged, and when it connects, the holy light radiates from the blade. Eyes, but then it doesn't seem to be as effective as I'm used to. I look disappointed.
Okay.
Has the light forsaken me? Why?
All right, Kolmar. Then we got the warforged, and then Eivar.
Okay, so I can see this fight going on between the 2 warforged and Elmorn, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm stuck to this window.
Mm-hmm.
Not going anywhere. Can I cast magic missile?
Is there a somatic?
So if you do that, it would break the window. So you can do it so that it breaks the window that you're not glued to, if you wanted to do that. Otherwise, like, it wouldn't materialize within the train and strike the targets.
It wouldn't go around the cart and through the door if the door's open?
You could do that. Yeah, actually.
Okay, so if I can see the one that's injured the most, I'll go after that one. So,
Okay.
3d4, right?
If you're casting it as a first level spell, yeah, 3d4 plus 3.
Plus 3. Okay, we'll go with that then. 5.
And then also,
do I get sneak attack damage?
No, just because it's not something that you roll an attack roll for.
Okay.
But in terms of the magic missile, what does your magic missile look like?
Looks like 3 tiny little black darts that have Like, darts you would throw at a dartboard,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just black.
Okay.
So he takes 8 force damage.
All right, that one is dead. Go ahead and describe how it dies.
Okay, so as I'm pressed up against the window, smushed my face there, I see this battle going on, and I see the Warforged get hit with some kind of I'm guessing I've seen Elmorn smite. And then as Elmorn looks at his halberd, kind of like, what happened? I cast the magic missile. Elmorn doesn't notice that the Warforged is struck, and then the Warforged just collapses to the ground, and then Elmorn thinks, oh, it just took a second.
Delayed smite.
That's right.
Yeah, my expression goes from disappointed to satisfied.
All right. Did you want to do anything else?
I mean, does it feel like this is going to give way or anything?
It doesn't. But you are in somewhat of a precarious situation, being glued to the side of a train moving at 60 miles an hour and actually increasing in speed. It's pretty clear that the driver is doing his best to try and speed up the train and try and get away in some way.
And you would know that in about a minute that glue is going to dry out and become brittle, and you're just going to drop.
Okay. Well, but I've only been there a relatively short amount of time, so.
Yeah. So, if you wanted the stickiness, you can manipulate the glue so that it kind of goes around your hands, and you can use the glue to kind of try and
Spider-Man my way up, yeah.
I was going to say Tom Cruise your way up, but yeah, Spider-Man works too.
Impossible.
So if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, okay, I'll make my, yeah.
All right. So we'll do that as a it's not going to be a normal like athletics check.
Okay, because I'm not good at those anyway.
We're gonna use intelligence for that to see how well you can manipulate the glue around your hands, and you can use add your proficiency, because if nothing else, Kolmar is familiar with filth and grease.
That's right. I'm all about that. Natural effing 20, baby.
There you go. You could pretty much do what you want.
All right. All right, so I spider climb backwards right up the side of the window, right up top, and I'm on top of the cart now.
Okay. So you are back there with Eivar. Eivar notices you.
I am one with the glue and grease.
All right. All right. So now we got the Warforged. Also Kolmar, because it's a short distance, you can also stand up. You don't have to be prone or anything too. Just
okay.
athletic. So the one remaining Warforged with Elmorn, he is going to press on his attack. And so he has 2. That's going to miss. That's going to miss. So Elmorn manages to dodge both strikes from the remaining Warforged on that cart. Up top, there are 3 Warforged left, and 1 flying Warforged that still remains. there's another explosion that rocks the engine room. So, Kolmar, because you're all glued up, and because of that magnificent natural 20, you're fine. Your feet are pretty firmly planted. But Eivar, give me an acrobatics check.
16.
All right, so you're able to stay on your feet as well, and manage that. Elmorn, I also need you to give me acrobatics check to stay on your feet, since you're in battle.
Roll the
It
one.
says it all.
Oh, you did you?
I did.
Roll it again.
Roll the 19.
Okay. So we're not going to rule that a critical fumble, but you clearly fall. All right. So Elmorn fell, and then we have two of the warforged are going to continue to press on their attack against Eivar. One of the warforged is going to throw an axe at Kolmar, and then the flying one is going to attack Eivar. So, let's see. So, one against Kolmar. That's a 21.
Yep. Bastard.
6 slashing damage. And then against Eivar, we have a 13, which is a miss, probably. 21.
Yep.
And then the flyer, we have a 20.
Yep.
All right. So from the two axes, you take 11 slashing damage. And then from the flyer, wait a minute. Oh, that's wrong. And then 10 explosion damage from the flyer's cannon.
Fuck.
Eivar, you're up.
I'm going to take my last Thunderstone and throw it at the other flyer.
Okay.
It's a non-natural 20.
It hits. So, Constitution save. Fail. He's definitely deafened. Can't hear shit. And then Strength save. That's a 14 is the DC, right? Or is it 15?
15.
Either way fails. So another one bites the dust. So go ahead and describe how that goes.
So this one gets hit by it, and you see plates fly off of the mechanism that's keeping it in the air. And it just immediately starts to spiral out and slams into the side of the train before bouncing off, leaving just pieces rolling on the ground behind the train.
Nice. All right. Do you have anything else that you want to do?
No, that's all I can do this one.
Okay.
Start
So
to
Marthow, or what?
We'll start to pull a potion of healing.
Alrighty then. Potions of healing, I feel like that's stupid to have an action for that. You can use a bonus action if you want.
Okay, then I'll definitely
Potion of healing.
And I got back 10. Cool.
All right. So Marthow and Peitri.
We'll start at Marthow because my round will be pretty easy.
No. What am I rolling?
What are you doing?
I'm going further back. I'm just going to keep going into the cargo hold.
Okay. So you want to keep searching for anything that might be interesting in some way?
Correct. I'm kind of, Marthow's kind of making the assumption that anything of interest to the warforged might be giving off some similar frequency or kind of wavelength as them. So I'm looking for anything that's kind of that looks out of the ordinary, sounds out of the ordinary.
All right, give me an investigation check.
I think ain't gonna fly. I'll use an action point. Nat 20.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right. So normally, this whatever it is that you find wouldn't be of interest, but as you pass by it, you feel a sort of hum. It's not quite. It's not quite audible. It's not quite a felt sensation. It's almost something in between. And as it attracts your attention, and as you look at it, you can sort of see it glow and hum with a rhythm that almost is a heartbeat. And then you realize that you're seeing something as if, like, it's appearing to you as if you're seeing through the case that it's actually in. It's in a sturdy metal case that is locked, but you kind of see this vague shape of it despite the lock and despite the fact that it's encased in this thing. So it's almost like a ghostly image superimposed over this thing.
Gotcha.
So
I think that'll be my turn for now.
Okay. The box, if you do try to open it, it is locked.
All right.
Peitri.
All right. Are there people still going through the door?
No, you have managed to get everybody past.
All right. I shut the door, and then I charge at the warforged, which Elmorn's fighting.
Okay.
So I'll do an attack roll. Oh yeah, a nat 20.
Hey.
I'll take that.
All right. So then roll your confirmation.
All right. 14.
All right. And then so roll your percentile.
3.
All right. Well, appropriate given the feat. So the Warforged takes double max damage, which also includes the bonus damage. So you double that as well for your charge of feat. So double max damage, and the Warforged is knocked prone.
Oh, he just falls over. Cool. And yeah, I'll spend my turn standing over him.
Well, wait. What?
Proud of
So
myself.
you're using your sword, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you using the final blade?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it do? It do anything? I haven't killed anything yet, so.
Oh, well, that's what you think. Hold on while I try to pull that up. I'm trying to remember that. Did I not? Did I ever send you stats for the final blade?
No, other than it was a +1 sword.
Okay. So I lost where you are. So that is what is your okay, so then 16 times 2 is 32 damage. So you do 32 slashing damage. The thing is dead, so you can describe that. But you, as that happens, another bleeding wound opens up across your chest, crossing the one that's already on your chest.
Oh.
And you permanently lose 6 hit points.
Oh, shit. So permanently lose 6. Okay.
Yeah, so your maximum hit points drop 6.
Right. Well,
So go ahead and describe how he dies.
yeah, so you hear the door slam in the train, and he just, you hear Peitri just going, "Ah!" at the creature, and it sort of like pushes back, and like is shocked just by his presence, and then Peitri's just like yelling at him, and like shaking the blade inside of him, and then pulls it out, but then spits on the ground like all this blood, and he's like, "What the fuck?" At the creature, and it sort of like pushes back. There's an echo. And, like is shocked.
It's like a delayed echo.
That's like a serious echo.
It's the final blade.
/ walkie-talkie.
Talks back.
All right. So that brings us to the top of the round. Something new happens at this point. I've been waiting all session for this.
Oh, God.
Seamus comes down.
Yes, the hero.
Fucking Seamus. If I never have to play that fucking character again, it would be too soon. Jesus.
I thought he was gonna bust out like an equally awesome cardboard.
All right. So from those of you at the top of the cart, so Kolmar and Eivar, and also because the train is kind of taking on a turn, so as it's turning through the window, Elmorn and Peitri can also see this. From the bottom of the warforged airship, a double door hatch splits open, and a large object lands onto the lightning cart rail below. It lands with a heavy thud, and the whole train rocks as the cart momentarily destabilizes the train's precarious balance against the levitating force of the conductor stones. The object begins to unfold and rise, vents opening and releasing clouds of hot steam. Within the cracks between the armor plates, you see gears whir and metallic cord writhe. The Colossus seems to stretch as if it's been waiting cramped within the airship's cargo for some time. You are suddenly shaken from your curiosity as a cold dread realization takes over. The massive figure towers over the other warforged, a squat and impossibly armored frame held up by powerful legs as thick and strong as stone pillars. The right arm ends in an oversized gauntlet, the thick digits fitting tightly together into a fist with sharp knuckles made to concentrate the force of its massive blows. The other arm ends in an ultra-sharp battle axe that glints in the sunlight. Mounted over the length of the left forearm is what looks like a small tree trunk. The end is carved to a point, and carved across every inch of the surface are dimly glowing sigils. You've heard tales of these living siege engines, but never could imagine being so close to one. You shudder in fear as you watch the 20-foot-tall harbinger of death, built out of stone and steel, lumber towards the engine cart of the lightning rail. How you might possibly stand against such a force is simply beyond you. This is a legendary warforged titan, and it more than lives up to its terrifying reputation. The armored cart that withstood a near constant volley of explosives without even a scratch crumples easily under the fist of the dreadnought before you. Ripping the armor away like nothing more than tissue paper, the warforged titan points its axe arm toward the large new hole in the train's hull. The runes along the length of the timber flare up, moving down the trunk and concentrating into the point before finally unleashing an explosive beam of fire. For several long seconds, the beam continues to burn the contents within the engine cart, the vicious heat of the blast felt even at this great distance. When the energy finally exhausted, a plume of black smoke rises from the hole, and you can feel the train begin to slow.
Well, there goes my idea. I was going to say cut the car with him on it. And we'll just zoom off and we'll stay behind.
So, given Dustin's disposition, I feel like that's a good point to end the session.
Yeah.
Brendan's like, what the fuck are we up against now?
Oh, good. Oh.
What are you guys' thoughts so far about the session today? With the train heists?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you did well with the splitting of like the two parties, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really
keeping
wanted to
control
make
of turns and stuff. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance and that it wasn't dragging too much for any one person.
Yeah.
Good.
Especially after Ano's feedback with that one, the Lannis
Yeah, fair call.
session.
I appreciate that.
I can't tell you guys how long I've wanted to do some kind of train heist session, and two, wanted to unleash a warforged titan. Oh, let me show you guys a picture of what it looks like.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm scared. Is there anything like any of these other creatures?
Yeah.
This isn't exactly what this one looks like because, well, I'll.
This is my first game session in a long time where like the whole session was really like 30 seconds of real time.
All right, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main differences between the ones that you guys see and the one that's pictured is that there's the siege wand mounted over the X arm, And the arm that is just the stone slab is more of a giant piston fist, kind of like if you guys have seen Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
The that one, I can't remember the name of the Jaeger, but the old one that was just really, that got melted.
Freaking hell.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to kill it in a couple of rounds next session.
Yeah.
I've already used so many resources.
By the way, Peitri, for helping to keep the doors open and getting those people through, you get an action point. Because a lot of the session seemed like you were worried about making sure that the people were being saved and stuff, and I thought that was really awesome, and definitely being a worshipper of the Silver Flame, very much what the Silver Flame would want from you. And so
Yeah.
next time you get an extra action point.
Well, I'm gonna give my action point to the cool to Eivar for his cool throw of the tangleweed, whatever it was. That was sick. I was truly impressed. That was really cool.
At least
Okay.
we use Kolmar. I think you might.
Kolmar might need it for those acrobatics checks.
Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things. One, next session is actually going to be next Monday evening, I believe. Or Peter, are you doing the game next Monday?
No, I had not planned on it. No.
Okay. So then, is everybody good for Monday next week?
Yeah.
Around 8:30 Central Time? Okay. Another thing that I just want to bring people's attentions to, there's a number of magic items that have been awarded as treasure that are still yet unclaimed. And so I just wanted to make sure if anybody actually wanted them. If not, then maybe they can be broken down into some kind of magical component or used in some other way. But I just wanted to make sure that people were aware that they're still unclaimed magic items. So I'll send out a list of all the magic items I've awarded to everybody up until now, and then make sure that everybody knows which ones are still left unclaimed, and give everybody a chance to get those. Kurt, since you just joined, if nobody wants any of the magic items, you'll have an opportunity to kind of get dibs on anything.
Thanks.
And then outside of that, if there's any magic items that just nobody wants, then we'll figure out something else for them.
I might actually get to meet Ivor next session.
From Ivar's perspective, we've been traveling together for like days. We've just been like in and out of consciousness in the back of a cart most of it.
Yeah, it's funny. This just about 3-hour session, we covered about 36 seconds.
It's fast 36 seconds. I mean, it just kind of whizzed by.
Just like the train.
Yes.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for playing. I will send out that email with the reminders and everything. And then any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know.
All right.
Have a
Cool,
good
man.
night.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take it easy.
All
Next
right.
week.
Take
Bye.
care. Oh, that was fun.
Got your train heist in.
Yes. When I started writing it up on Saturday, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be awesome. And I was like, I was really hoping that you would be utilizing the grease, because I was like, there's no way that you're not going to do that. It's on a moving train.
Yep. Yeah.
But it really does seem that warforged and grease do not go well together
they don't.
around you.
No, they do not do very well.
So, how much more time you got?
Not much. I don't know if I'll be able to make it Monday.
Okay.
That's kind of up in the air. I don't know if I'll be able to.
All right. Well, let me know, and if at that point that when you know that you're gonna have like a few weeks of difficulty making it, we'll start email sessions, and we'll just kind of, for Kolmar, maybe fast forward to going to Atter, the city of the undead, for Kolmar to be able to explore there.
Did this Warforge, this Titan, just land on the engine car?
It didn't land on the engine car. It landed on the cart next to it, but it walked over to the engine cart.
And it didn't go through the
and-
roof?
No, it didn't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the lightning rails are pretty structurally sound and can take a pretty big beating,
Mm-hmm.
but those warforged fists are made of adamantine. So.
That's Wolverine stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How's everything else going?
All right, just roller skating downhill at this point.
Mm-hmm. And now with the good kind of skates.
No, just all kinds of stuff to get done. It's just trying to figure out what to do and what I can get done and everything. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it gets simpler quickly.
Yeah, it will. It's just the lead up. The lead up to it's going to be a pain, and then it'll be a huge cluster, and then everything will start to get